Some disappearances are tragic. Others are impossible. But few have left investigators this unsettled. A case where 3 men simply vanished from a lighthouse on a lonely rock in the middle of the sea. And the only clues left behind were a half-eaten meal, a knocked-over chair, and a logbook that described a storm no one else ever saw. This is the haunting true mystery of the Flannan Isles lighthouse keepers. The story begins in December 1900, on a group of isolated islands called the Flannan Isles, located off the west coast of Scotland. On one of these barren rocks stood a newly built lighthouse, tall, white, and lonely, surrounded by nothing but endless ocean. It was manned by 3 lighthouse keepers. Thomas Marshall, aged 28. James Duckett, the principal keeper, aged 43. And Donald MacArthur, the occasional keeper, a tough old sailor. Their job was simple: keep the light burning, no matter what. But out there, isolation plays tricks on the mind. There was no village, no company, just the wind, the waves, and the sound of the foghorn echoing through the night. On December 15, 1900, a ship called the Arch-Tor was sailing past the Flannan Isles. The crew noticed something strange: the lighthouse was dark. Its massive light, which guided ships through deadly waters, had gone out. The ship radioed the nearest port to report it, but bad weather delayed the investigation. For nearly 11 days, no one could reach the island. When relief finally arrived, what they found would become one of the greatest unsolved disappearances in maritime history. On December 26, the relief vessel Hesperus approached the island, carrying the 4th keeper, Joseph Moore, who had come to relieve one of the men. As the ship neared the rocky cliffs, the crew noticed something wrong. There was no signal flag on the pole. No movement near the landing platform. And the light itself was still out. Joseph Moore rowed ashore alone. He climbed the steep stone stairs to the lighthouse, calling out the men's names the entire way. No answer. No movement. Only the howling of the wind. When he reached the entrance, the front door was unlocked, and inside, everything looked perfectly normal. Inside the lighthouse, Moore found a scene frozen in time. The kitchen table was set, plates laid out, food half-eaten, chairs pushed back. One chair had been knocked over. The clock had stopped. And one of the beds looked like it had just been slept in. All 3 men's oilskin coats were missing, meaning they likely went outside. But one coat, belonging to MacArthur, was still hanging on the hook. That meant one of them had gone outside without his protective gear, in freezing weather. Then Moore opened the logbook. And what he read made the entire mystery darker. The log entries leading up to the disappearance were unsettling. On December 12, Thomas Marshall wrote that there had been severe winds the likes of which I have never seen before in 20 years. He noted that their equipment had been damaged, and that they had secured the light as best they could. He also wrote something stranger, that the men were very quiet and praying. But the real mystery? Weather records from the mainland show no storms anywhere near the island during that period. The seas were calm. So what storm were they writing about? On December 13th, the final entry was brief. Storm ended. Sea calm. God is over all. After that, nothing. The next day, the light never came on again. The Northern Lighthouse Board launched a full investigation. When the inspectors arrived, they found more odd details. At the western landing platform, heavy damage was visible. Iron railings bent, a large stone dislodged, ropes strewn about. It looked as though an enormous wave had hit the area. But again, no storms had been reported anywhere nearby. It was as if the island itself had been attacked by something unseen. The official theory was that one man had gone down to secure equipment during bad weather. Another had gone to help. And the third followed, leaving the light unattended. Then, a massive rogue wave swept them all away. But that explanation raises more questions than it answers. Why did MacArthur leave the lighthouse without his coat, when it was freezing outside? Why did all three men go down to the landing together, when lighthouse protocol always required at least one man to stay inside? And what about the storm mentioned in the logbook, the one that no one else ever saw? There was also the strange fact that one of the doors was unlocked, and the mechanical clock had stopped, as if time itself had frozen at the moment they vanished. Locals began whispering that the men had been taken by something else entirely. Over the decades, dozens of theories have tried to explain what happened, some rational, others not so much. Theory 1. A rogue wave. The most widely accepted theory is that a freak wave, over 100 feet tall, struck the island unexpectedly, sweeping the men into the sea. But critics point out that the landing platform was 400 feet above sea level, a height even rogue waves rarely reach. Theory 2. Madness and murder. Some believe one of the men, possibly MacArthur, known for his temper, suffered a mental breakdown, killed the others, and then threw himself into the sea. But there was no sign of blood, and everything in the lighthouse appeared peaceful. Theory 3. Alien or supernatural abduction. Many locals, even some investigators, believe something unnatural happened, especially because of the missing storm and the strange final entry. God is over all. They said the men had been taken, by the sea, by the sky, or by something else. To this day, no bodies were ever recovered. No personal items washed ashore. Nothing, as if the men had simply walked out into the air and vanished. The Flannan Isles Lighthouse was automated in the 1970s, and no keepers have lived there since. But passing sailors still say they sometimes see three ghostly figures standing on the cliffs during storms, looking out to sea, forever waiting to be found. And on quiet nights, some claim to hear faint voices carried by the wind. The sounds of men calling for help from a century ago. The mystery of the Flannan Isles remains one of the ocean's darkest puzzles. No evidence. No survivors. No answers. Just three men who vanished from a tower of light, leaving behind the words, "God is over all." Maybe they were right. Because on that lonely island, whatever took them wasn't human. This was True Mystery Vault, where the sea keeps its secrets. And the truth is always darker than the legend. If you want more real mysteries like this, subscribe now, because next time, we're going even deeper into the vault where light never reaches.